Hi everybody, it's Miss Hernandez. I'm sorry again that this video is coming out a day late. I was a little bit busy yesterday. I actually just recently got employed at a school, so I'm very excited, and I was doing a lot of paperwork yesterday. So yeah, I apologize guys if you're looking forward to the video yesterday. So before I show you guys the book we're going to be reading today, I'm going to make those announcements I told you guys about this week. So there are going to be some changes to like the order, how many videos will be coming out. Not really how many, but how many would be for books specifically. So if we are still reading a novel, such as the novels we read, Onward and The Search for the Phoenix Gem, we will keep a normal week where it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that would be normal still if it's a novel we're reading. If we're no longer reading a novel and we're just reading either a picture book, well, I don't want to show this one because I'm going to say that one there. Sorry. If it's a picture book or just a book with short stories, then we will only be reading that book on Wednesday and Friday. And Monday we will do crafts. I thought it'd be nice if we can do a crafting video for some weeks when we're reading just normal picture books and short stories, just so you guys can have something to do at home. So yeah, so next coming Monday, we will be doing some crafts on here, and you guys can do it at home. I'll be making it to where it's something you can try and find supplies for at home, not have to go out and buy, and you could do it in the comfort of your house and just, you know, enjoy doing something at home. So yeah, so the book that we're going to be reading today, and for the next few, I'm not sure how long this book will really take, depends on how many I read, but we're going to be reading Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. So this book was actually made into the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie that came out, I believe it was last year. So that was the hint I gave you guys, was it was a movie that was adapted from a book, and it came out last year. So I'm really excited to tell you guys this book, mainly because it's one of my favorite things to read when I was younger, and I loved the movie. I went to see it with my brother, who also loves Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So this is a really interesting book for me to read for you guys. So yeah, if there's not many pictures in this one, but the pictures that there are there, I'll show them to you. So we won't have to do the switching the camera and I show it like this, because it's mainly just words. So I will show you the words every now and then, just so you guys see what I'm reading. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this for you guys, so hopefully you're excited too. So again, this is Scary Stories 3. I love this book so much. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. If you're not familiar with these books, guys, these books actually just have short stories that you can tell. So it's not one whole long book. It's actually just several short stories that all have a common theme of being horror themed, scary, you know, something to make you shiver at night, you know, just a little scary story. So yeah, and I love the artwork in here. I just want to show you guys. This is the inside page. And I just love how creepy that looks. I'm really into creepy art and stories, so this is something that's definitely up my alley and stuff. Right, so I want to make sure this is the first story. Okay, so this is the first story. It's called Boomin. I know, I'm gonna actually flip this one. No, never mind. Okay, so here's the picture if you want to see it real quick. Sometimes it's a lot of like very abstract creepy, which I really like. The girl was late getting home for supper, so she took a shortcut through the cemetery. But oh, it made her nervous. When she saw another girl ahead of her, she hurried to catch up. "Do you mind if I walk with you?" she asked. "Walking through the cemetery at night scares me." "I know what you mean," the other girl said. "I used to feel that way when I was alive." Ooh. "There are all sorts of things that scare us. The dead scare us, for one day we will make dead like they are. Oh, sorry. The dead scare us, for one day we will be dead like they are. The dark scares us, for we don't know what is waiting in the dark. At night, the sound of leaves rustling, or branches groaning, or someone whispering makes us uneasy. So do footsteps coming closer. So do strange figures we think we see in the shadows. A human, maybe, or a big animal, or some horrible thing we can barely make out. People call these creatures we think we see boo-men. We imagine them, they say, but now and then a boo-man turns out to be real. Queer happenings scare us too. We hear a boy or a girl who was raised by an animal, a human being like us who yelps and howls and runs on all fours. The thought of it makes our flesh crawl. We hear of insects that make their nests in a person's body, or of a nightmare that comes true and we shudder. If such things really do happen, then they happen to us. It is from such fears that scary stories grow. This is the third book of such stories I have collected. I learned some of them from people I met. I found others, tales that had been written down in folklore archives and in libraries. As we always do with tales we learn, I have told them in my own way. Some stories in this book have been told only in recent times, but others have been part of our folklore for as long as we know. As one person told another, the details may have changed, but the story itself has not, for what once frightened people still frightens them. I thought at first that one of these stories I found was a modern story. It is the one I call The Bus Stop. I then discovered that a similar story had been told 2,000 years earlier in ancient Rome, but the young woman involved was named Philinion, not Joanna, as she is in our story. Are the stories in this book true? The one I call The Trouble is true. I can't be sure about the others. Most may have at least a little truth, for some strange things sometimes happen, and people love to tell about them and turn them into even better stories. Nowadays, most people say that they don't believe in ghosts and queer happenings and such, yet they still fear the dead in the dark, and they still see boo-men waiting in the shadows, and they still tell scary stories, such as people always have. Just as people always have. So that was a statement by Alvin Schwartz. Let me show you this, guys. So he is the writer of this book. So yeah, these are stories that were collected by him. And like he said, he goes to libraries and he talks to people to try and get all of these scary stories together and put them into one book. So I thought that's very interesting. So this one is called When Death Arrives. So I'm going to show you that real quick. When death arrives, it usually is the end of the story, but in these stories, it is only the beginning. Ooh. Alright, here's the next one that we're going to be reading. So, looks like the picture is a truck in the air, and it looks like the Grim Reaper at the bottom. It's pretty cool. This one's called The Appointment. A 16-year-old boy worked on his grandfather's horse farm. One morning, he drove a pickup truck into town and on an errand. When he was walking along the main street, he saw Death. Death beckoned him, which means he called him. The boy drove back to the farm as fast as he could and told his grandfather what had happened. "Give me the truck," he begged. "I'll go to the city. He'll never find me there." His grandfather gave him the truck and the boy sped away. After he left, his grandfather went into town looking for Death. When he found him, he asked, "Why did you frighten my grandson that way? He is only 16. He is too young to die." "I am sorry about that," said Death. "I did not mean to beckon to him, but I was surprised to see him here. You see, I have an appointment with him this afternoon in the city." Ooh, that's creepy, guys. So basically, the grandson going into the city, that's where Death is supposed to meet him. So that's a little scary, guys. So this one is called The Bus Stop, which the author mentioned in his first part that he told. So here's that page, and here is that page. The Bus Stop. Ed Cox was driving home from work in a rainstorm. While he waited for a traffic light to change, he saw a young woman standing alone at a bus stop. She had no umbrella and was soaking wet. "Are you going toward Farmington?" he called. "Yes, I am," she said. "Would you like a ride home?" "I would," she said, and she got in. "My name is Joanna Finney. Thank you for rescuing me." "I'm Ed Cox," he said, "and you're welcome." On the way, they talked and talked. She told him about her family and her job and where she had gone to school. And he told her about himself. By the time they got her to her house, the rain had stopped. I'm glad it rained, Ed said. Would you like to go out tomorrow after work? I'd love to, Joanna said. She asked him to meet her at the bus stop since it was near her office. They had such a good time they went out many times after that. Always they would meet at the bus stop and off they would go. Ed liked her more each time he saw her. But one night, when they had a date to go out, Joanna did not appear. Ed waited at the bus stop for almost an hour. Maybe something is wrong, he thought, and he drove to her house in Farmington. An older woman came to the door. I'm Ed Cox, he said. Maybe Joanna told you about me. I had a date with her tonight. We were supposed to meet at the bus stop near her office, but she didn't show up. Is she all right? The woman looked at him as if he had said something strange. I am Joanna's mother, she said slowly. Joanna isn't here now, but why don't you come in? Ed pointed to a picture on the mantel. That looks just like her, he said. It did once, her mother replied, but that picture was taken when she was your age, about 20 years ago. A few days later, she was waiting in the rain at that bus stop. A car hit her and she was killed. Oh, that's the end of that story, guys. So, he was dating a ghost. If you didn't understand that one. He was dating a ghost, guys. That's crazy. I think we'll read, let's see. We'll read 2 more stories and then we'll finish this video for today. So, this one is called Faster and Faster. So, that looks like it's a drum. To me, that's what it looks like. And then that's the other page. Just so you guys see it. Right. Faster and faster. Sam and his cousin Bob went walking in the woods. The only sounds were leaves rustling and now and again a bird chirping. It's so quiet here, Bob whispered. But that soon changed. After a few minutes, the 2 boys started whooping and hollering and chasing one another around. Sam ducked behind a tree. When Bob came by, Sam jumped out at him. Then Bob raced ahead and hid behind a bush. When he looked down, there at his feet was an old drum. Sam, see what I found? He called. It looks like a tom-tom. I bet it's 100 years old. Look at the red stains on it, he called. Oh, Sam said. I bet it's somebody's blood. Let's get out of here. But Bob could not resist trying the drum. He sat on the ground and held it between his legs. He beat on it with one hand, then the other, slowly at first, then faster and faster, almost as if he could not stop. Suddenly there were shouts in the woods and the sound of hoofbeats. A cloud of dust rose from behind a line of trees. Then men on horseback galloped toward them. Bob, let's go, Sam shouted. He began to run. Hurry! Bob dropped the drum and ran after him. Sam heard the twang of a bow firing an arrow. Then he heard Bob scream. When Sam turned, he saw Bob pitched forward, dead. But there was no arrow in his body, and there was no wound. And when the police searched, there were no men on horseback, and there were no hoof prints, and there was no drum. The only sounds were leaves rustling, and now and again a bird chirping. Ooh. It's pretty creepy. Makes you wonder what, if what happened actually happened or not. Creepy. This is called Just Delicious. So, here is the first page. And then here's the second page. I don't know. That looks like a coffin to me, but I'm not entirely sure. But now that I look at it on the camera, it does look like a camera. I mean, like a coffin. Okay. George Flint loved to eat. Each day at noon, he closed his camera shop for 2 hours and went home for a big lunch his wife Mina cooked for him. George was a bully, and Mina was a timid woman who did everything he asked because she was afraid of him. On his way home for lunch one day, George stopped at the butcher shop and bought a pound of liver. He loved liver. I hate liver. Liver's gross. He would have Mina cook it for him for dinner that night. Despite all his complaints about her, she was a very good cook. While George ate his lunch, Mina told him that a rich old woman in town had died. Her body was in the church next door. It was in an open coffin. Anyone who wanted to see her could. As usual, George was not interested in what Mina had to say. I've got to go back to work, he told her. After he left, Mina began to cook the liver. She added vegetables and spices and simmered it all afternoon, just the way George liked it. When she thought it was done, she cut off a small piece and tasted it. It was delicious, the best she had ever made. She ate a second piece, then a third. It was so good she could not stop eating. It was only when the liver was all gone that she thought of George. He would be coming home soon. What would he do when he found that she had eaten all of the liver? Ooh, I have a feeling what she's gonna do. Some men would laugh, but not George. He would be angry and mean, and she did not want to face that again. But where could she get another piece of liver that late in the day? Then she remembered the old woman lying in the church next door, waiting to be buried. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can make a connection on, like a prediction on what you think she's gonna do to that old lady. That's pretty creepy. Oh, there's more to the story. I just realized that. Look, guys, another page. We're gonna read it right now. George said he never had a better dinner. Have some liver, Mina, he said. It's just delicious. I'm not hungry, she said. You finish it. That night, after George had fallen asleep, Mina sat in bed trying to read, but all she could think about was what she had done. Then she thought she heard a woman's voice. Who has my liver? It asked. Who has it? Was it her imagination? Was she dreaming? Now the voice was closer. Who has my liver? It asked. Who has it? Mina wanted to run. No, no, she whispered. I don't have it. I don't have your liver. Now the voice was right next to her. Who has my liver? It asked. Who has it? Mina froze with terror. She pointed to George. He does, she said. He has it. Suddenly the light went out and George screamed and screamed. Ooh. I'm going to show you it one more time, guys. That's really creepy. So she cooked the old woman's liver and had her husband eat it. That's so crazy, guys. Wow. I never thought someone would actually do something like that. Alright, so I think that's the few stories we'll be reading for today. Pretty cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the stories were pretty interesting. I hope you did too. So I'm gonna show you the cover one more time. Scary Stories 3. More tales to chill your bones. Really cool. So yeah, guys, every time we do a video, I'll just read a few of these stories to you guys and then move on to what we're doing next. But this upcoming Monday, because this is a short story book, Monday we'll be doing some crafts. So if you want to see what those are going to be, what we're going to be making, then, you know, just stop by on Monday and see what we have to make. And you can try making it at home. So, and I'll put the, like, what you'll be needing in the comments and stuff, so you guys will be able to do it. I'm also going to post this announcement I did underneath in the description of this video, in case you're not sure, and you can't remember, like, what I had said. I'll be writing it down there if you ever want to refer to it later. So yeah, guys, hopefully next week will be pretty interesting, having a crafting video, and then it'll just be 2 videos for reading instead of 3. So yeah, I can't wait to do it with you guys. So again, Scary Stories 3, hopefully you guys will like it, and I will see you guys on Monday. Y'all take care. Bye, everybody.